We're going to read Deuteronomy chapter 7. Throwing it back this morning. Beginning of Deuteronomy 7. Starting at verse 1, it says, When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods, so that the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall you deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Alright. You be Steve. Can I tell you guys a story this morning? Is that alright? Okay. So, you guys remember when y'all were little and y'all had bad dreams, right? Yeah? No? That's just me? Yeah, okay. So, I had this bad dream that it wasn't about spiders or snakes or anything. One of them was about a refrigerator. And I got scared that I was about to get trapped in the refrigerator. And I couldn't open it from the inside. And I was just trapped and yelling and nobody could hear me. And I think I'm an idiot now. But anyway, that was one of them. And then another one is when I was a little kid, I guess I was helping my mom with laundry, but I guess I wasn't really helping. But I would be in the dryer, and I'd be literally in the dryer, crawling around, playing around, and I had a bad dream about getting stuck in the dryer and somebody turning it on with me in there. Has anybody ever had that dream? Nobody? Okay, yeah. Alright. So, anyways, that's kind of weird, but I was scared, for real scared, and I was trapped. And a lot of times we find ourselves being trapped. And I just want to back up a little bit and just do this big general summary. And for a lot of you guys, it'll probably be reviewed. But when God brought the nation of Israel out of Egypt, He saved them, and they wandered around in the wilderness for a little while. And then Moses died, and then Joshua God gave the law to Moses. And Deuteronomy talks about the law. And then Moses died. Joshua is the next leader, and God tells Joshua, wherever you go, wherever you step your foot, I will give it to you. He tells him to go in and destroy these nations. And for the most part, they did, but not completely. And then you find through Judges and through, even when they said, we want a king, and they give them a king, and then when all the kings, and it's always constantly them falling away from God, and them getting overtaken, and then crying out to God, and then God delivering them, and then them falling away again. And it's just this constant cycle. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever felt like the children of Israel, or if that's just a me thing once again. But sometimes I feel like the children of Israel, and I guess a lot of times we blame it on, He's not really serious, but I don't know if any of you guys have ever done this, but sometimes you've fallen and you've messed up, or I've fallen and I've messed up, and I'm genuinely, honestly, seriously sorry, and I ask for forgiveness, and then I find myself doing the same thing again. And I had the hardest time trying to get over, how not to do that. And I got a few points. I'm going to read another verse out of 2 Chronicles chapter 7. chapter 7, verse 14. It says, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land." So you hear stuff like this throughout Isaiah, Jeremiah, the prophets talking about coming back to God. But I really like this verse because it had a couple key words that I want to focus on. And the first one is turn. He said he'll turn from your wicked ways. And I've never really done this, but we're going to try it this morning. So if we got 3 points, your first point would be to turn. And to turn to something, you have to turn away from something else. And to me, that was a big key in finally overcoming, is to turn away. And I'm bad about focusing about, I got to let that go, turn away from that. I got to not do this. I got to not do that. I got to try to do better. And if I would just turn to God, the same time that I turn to God, I'm actually turning my back on the other thing. Because the spirit and the flesh are in opposition, and you can't have both of them, so you're going to have one or the other. So if you turn to one, you're going to turn your back on the other. So that means if I turn to the flesh, I'm going to turn my back to God. If I turn to God, I'm going to turn my back to the flesh. So I think it's so key that we turn and maybe not focus on, I can't do this anymore, I'm not going to do this anymore, I got to try not to do this anymore, and focus on turning to God. And then when you turn to God, there's this other word in this verse that says, pray and seek my face. And the second point would be to seek. And to seek means kind of like to hunt for, to pursue after, not just to look at, glance at, or be like, what's up, I'll catch up with you later. Or just maybe notice, but to actually seek and pursue after God. Because if we actually pursue God, we're not only have our back turned on what's holding us back, but we're actually moving further away from what's holding us back, because now we're moving closer to God. So I think the thing we focus on so much is don't do this, don't do that. How about we focus on growing closer to God and loving God and hearing from God every day and building a relationship with God. And when we do that and turn at the same time, it's also furthering us from the things that have held us captive. And the third thing, which is back in Deuteronomy chapter 7, he says, in verse 5, it said, "But thus shall ye deal with them. You shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire." And I was like, I feel like the children of Israel, and then I was like, what did God tell the children of Israel to do? And then it was turn and it was seek. And then I thought, he told them to tear down their altars. And I want you to really think for a second, what altars are in your life? What things have you set up in your life that is holding you back? To when you say, God, I'm super really sorry, and I genuinely mean it, but then I find myself walking by these same altars every day. And when I put myself in that position, I'm going to fall. Because that's just how it works. Because if you don't utterly destroy the enemy like God has told his people to do, there's consequences. And that doesn't mean that we have to be perfect, because we're never going to be perfect. But if we will really seek God and tear down those walls, if there's a certain place that you go that's tempting you and prompting you to do something you shouldn't do, don't go there anymore. If there's a certain person that you hang around, God didn't say don't shun everybody, but God, listen, everybody, Haley talked about having parameters, having boundaries that you're like, I'm not going to do this. And she said, your boundaries might look different than my boundaries. Okay? I may have a weak spot that I need to cut off that may not be a weak spot. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, it is super important to destroy these things, to do things different. And I find myself getting in a rut sometimes and just going on the same thing over and over. And it's hard to do something new and to go somewhere new if you're continually walking around in circles doing the same thing every day. Amen. And God does not give up on his people. God does not God said if you still got, and even said something like, if you still got breath in your lungs, God still has a plan for you. Okay? So like, you're not too far gone. You don't have to feel like you can't come back. You don't have to feel shame and regret for what you've done, because but the children of Israel had to go through a bunch of junk that they really didn't have to go through. You know what I'm saying? Like they made it hard on themselves. Like, first of all, like going to the promised land was not a 40-year journey from Egypt. Like they were walking around in circles. And they made it hard on themselves. They put themselves in that situation. God told them up front, He's like, I will go with you, and like where I go with you, you're not going to lose. Like, it wasn't like up for debate. It was like they knew good and well that they were not going to lose. And we think like, these people are idiots. Like, y'all ever read those Bibles? Like, these people, they must not like could hear or nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we do the same thing. Because like we know good and well, if we're with God, can't nothing defeat us. But we still find ourselves defeated because we have these little things in our life, these little altars that we refuse to tear down and burn, that we refuse to get rid of. You see, the nation of Israel would have a king that would be a good king, and he would come in and he would tear down these altars, and then they'd have a new king come up, and he'd build these altars back. And you look at King Solomon, he made, I don't know how many wives he married, it's somewhere in the Bible, but it's a lot. And like, he married wives not just from Israel, but he married wives from other nations, and so did a bunch of other people. And you find Israel acting just like them. You find Israel in famine. You find Israel worried and hiding in caves, and they don't have enough food to eat because they've let these other nations come in. They've let these other nations and their ways, their principles, their ideas and beliefs, the little subtle things that we don't think nothing about, that really do make a big difference. Because if it's somewhere I don't know what it is. Like, maybe you just need to just change it up. Like, if you change it up, that would help a lot, because we found ourselves in a lot of just in a rut spiritually, and we're like, God, why aren't we going anywhere? Why aren't we doing anything? Why is it so tough? You know? And there's going to be seasons of waiting, and there's going to be times where we have to wait on God, and there's going to be times where we have to just have faith in God, and it's not always going to be easy. But a lot of times we make it harder on ourselves than we have to. And we're in this rut. We're in this spiritual rut. We get up in the morning and read a couple verses because that's what we're supposed to do, and don't really get nothing out of it. We go to work and then go get something for lunch, and then go back to work, and then we go home, and then we'll watch a couple hours of TV, maybe do something we're supposed to do. I don't know, whatever. We do some chores or something. And then we'll go to bed. And it's just this rut. And if you're anything like me, I got bad time management. And I think I have more time than I actually do have time. So I'm always late everywhere. I'm always pushing everywhere. I'm always late going to bed. And it's just, I need some more sleep. I need some more sleep after this weekend. But we find ourselves in this rut, and we're like, God, why aren't you doing anything? And God's like, you haven't paid me no attention. You haven't set aside time for me. You haven't turned and sought me. You haven't tore down these altars that are in your life that are holding you back and holding you down and bringing you back to what you have already asked for forgiveness for. And there's some people haven't been saved. Some people haven't been set free. But sometimes it's children of God that are caught up in things that they should have let go of a long time ago. And we have the power to overcome, just like the Israelites had the power to overcome, but because we didn't wipe out the enemy completely, we have these things, we have these struggles. But I want to tell you this morning that you don't have to live like that. It doesn't have to be like that. And I feel like, honestly, if we would just fall in love with who God is, if we would just really get to just know God and just see God, not just as a list of rules. Like, I don't want you to be like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to. Like, if you would just spend time with God and just think about how much He loves you, because when you really think about how much God loves you, at least for me, it just like will bring me to tears. Because, like, God loved me that much. If He loves me that much, then it moves me, and it makes me fall in love with God and all that He is and all that He does for us. And when we really get to build a relationship with God, draw closer to God, and spend time with God, like I said, in the same way you're moving away from the things that hold you back. It's not a checklist of rights and wrongs. It's a relationship that we have the opportunity to be a part of. And that's what I want to leave you with this morning, that you can overcome. There's not this secret formula. It's not anything that you can do. It's God's power for you. And God said that if you are a child of Him, that He has given you power, and the same Spirit that rose Jesus up from the dead lives in you. And you can live victorious, but we have to break down and tear down these altars, these false gods that we have let hang around in our lives. And that's all. Amen.